Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if we were to think about who are some of the sleepers, let's go into last week's conversation about Florida. You guys educated me. That's why I pay attention to this show, and occasionally be willing to come on and talk about it because I really didn't know a whole lot about Florida. And when Alex was talking about Florida's got a chance to do something this year, I was kind of shocked. But then I went and looked at their roster, and if there ever was an opportunity for Billy Napier to turn the page and make that jump, it is this year. His entire defense is coming back. The roster is intact. You know, you kind of look at the continuity on a team and all this movement, but if you've got guys that have been in your building that he's been building for a couple of years, and now his entire defense is homegrown, this is an opportunity for him. He's on offense, same thing, a whole lot of continuity. He's got one wide receiver that came in as a transfer and one freshman that's listed high on the depth chart. Other than that, they've been there. They've been in the building for at least the last 2 years. I think that goes pretty far. And so I definitely now can understand where Alex is coming from, where he was like, don't sleep on Florida, along with the fact that Lagway was really coming along last year and putting it to some of our Georgia guys. So I think Florida's going to be a team to watch.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to be somebody that you want to keep your eye on for sure.
Yeah. I think Ole Miss is going to be a team to watch. I have Lane Kiffin ranked as he's up there as one of the best coaches in college football. And I hate to admit
easily top 10. Yeah.
I mean, he can bother you as a coach, and he's very, very confident. You could say borderline arrogant at times. But the opposite of Florida is what Ole Miss is going through. He completely had to revamp his roster because of the NFL draft. All his defense got picked up. His entire secondary is brand new. He's full of transfers on defense, but this is also the era where you can plug and play and do it. And what he's got is a quarterback that he believes in Austin Simmons, who's been there. It's like, and if you got Lane's keeping praise on a quarterback, why would you argue with him? So I definitely think that Ole Miss is a team to watch out for. The other one that really surprised me, I was very, very down on them, was Texas A&M. But then I started looking at their roster a little bit, and you think, okay, year 2 of Mike Elko, year 2 of their quarterback, Marcel Reed. And then I looked and saw same thing like with Florida, where they have a whole bunch of players that have been there that are going to be there. And of their additions, they got the best wide receiver in the transfer portal, the wide receiver out of NC State, last name Conception. Big time target to come in here. I know South Carolina was going after him really hard. And so at first I was sitting there going like, no, A&M's not going to be anything. But I think with that continuity, Elko's a good coach. He did some great things at A&M. So I think you're going to see them rise up there a little bit. And the last one, I'll save my team for last, I guess. They've got 2 studs on each side of the ball that are game changers, in Dylan Stewart and Lenore Sellers. And I mean, I think Sellers is going to take a big jump. They've got a lot of returners on defense, our secondary, our D line, all kinds of folks who have been there before. I think that's really going to help them out. The big key for South Carolina is going to be on offense. What wide receivers? You all don't know any of the wide receivers on the roster, outside of Columbia. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows who the running back is. And so
you guys still have Harbor?
What's that?
You guys still have Nick Harbor, or did he?
They do have Nick Harbor.
99 speed.
Yeah, I was like, I know him from the game. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to be the big key for South Carolina. Can their wide receivers develop for Sellers for someone to pass to? But I mean, I really do look at that. I mean, I said it last year. I had my eyes on Ole Miss, and I'm going to keep my eyes on them again as a team to jump up there.